Hi, it's Celine. I just wanted to talk a bit about the stress journey, physically, emotionally, and mentally, and how it relates to mental health in the workplace. Because what happens in the workplace, you might have bullying or non-communication or harassment of some kind, and you think that this is actually the main cause of a person getting stressed or having mental health issues, and this is just not the case. So that means that people really, really don't understand stress in all its forms. So what I want to show you here with this diagram is quickly go over the family of origin is so important. When people are born, they're born into a certain family. They have parents or primary caregivers. They've been adopted, various relatives and ancestors. And so whatever's happening in that environment equates to that person's normal. So if they have particular beliefs or attitudes, if these people have behaviours, they're bullying or they're anxious or depressed, the child is going to copy that at some stage. So within that environment, we talk about here, stress is about survival, suppression, unexpressed emotions and conflict. So within that environment, the child is downloading programs to survive. And they're generally in the 0 to 6 years of age, and they cannot make reasoned decisions because they just are not conscious. Okay, so they're just downloading to survive. So within that environment, they have certain experiences. They observe what the parents do, they listen, they learn, they have thoughts and feelings. And so then what they do is they interpret those experiences. And from this family environment, they've actually built up perceptions. They interpret those experiences, they form opinions, they form attitudes, and they form beliefs about themselves. And then they build a framework for assessing various things based on that perception model. So then what they do within that environment is they develop coping strategies. How can we cope with these family environment? This is before they're going to school or getting out into the external world. So that they adopt various patterns of behaviour, they develop coping strategies, they affirm these strategies, that yes, you're a good boy if you do that. So then they believe, oh yeah, that's a good idea, so I will continue to do that. So they cement the behaviours, they develop habits, they copy the primary caregivers, and then they develop these strategies. So strategies could be bullying, depression, anxiety, overwhelm, anger, and a whole host of other coping strategies. So then what they do is assess these strategies through repetition. And if the behaviour or the coping strategy has worked in the past, the child will continue to do that because they get rewarded. Yes, you're a good person. Yes, you're a good boy. So this then cements their beliefs about themselves, their worth, attitude. Yes, I'm deserving, I'm worthy, I'm good, or I'm not good enough, and so on. So they carry forward these beliefs right through this time period. So what I want to show you on the next diagram, because it's actually a continuous diagram, is this. Okay, so they've got a pattern of life behaviour. They adopted certain behaviours, they've got coping strategies. So in times of perceived threat, because as I said, stress is about survival, they're going to act out these initial coping strategies. So they're going to go through life experiencing new things with their original perception filter, their framework. So the other thing is they're going to continue to attract into their lives people or situations that look like their normal. The normal that they had at home, whether the parents were bullying or anxious or depressed, they're going to attract people into the lives that continue to act out that behaviour towards them because they know or they think that that is normal. So what happens when you get to your work environment, you're doing all sorts of things to cope with stress. You got to have junk food, or you've got bad habits, you've got environmental toxins, you've got signals coming from your phone and your computer and so on. And so what happens is underlying all these things are negative beliefs, and the negative beliefs actually cause inflammation. All these other things can cause inflammation. So at some stage, you're just a barrel full of unexpressed emotions, and you're going to develop symptoms from that. And the symptoms could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be somewhere in between, some mental health issue. So then what happens is you either learn or you don't learn. So a person can change or they can't change. They're willing or able. If they're willing or able, the results will be they'll develop new strategies of coping. If they can't change, they're unwilling or not able, they're going to stagnate and continue disruption, anguish, failure and repetitive behaviours. So what happens in the workplace is you get a person with all of these things, and so management or the leaders go, okay, let's do a communication course or a time management course or some motivating course. Now, if you've got all of these things, so these 2 pages should be joined together, all of these things that are going into the barrel of how stressed this person is, those strategies aren't going to work. What you have to do is get to the underlying issues that are cause of all this stress, which is the negative beliefs and how they've been trained to respond to stress. So that is the key here. Stress is such a big issue and people kind of gloss over it. It's like have a massage or go for a walk. It is just not that simple. So if you have any questions, please contact me below in the section of the video in your LinkedIn and let me know what they are and see if I can help you in any way.